Hello, and welcome to Cloaker's Education Foundation, where we provide quality content for amazing teachers and students. If you're joining us from a previous series or video, welcome back. And if this is your first time, we're glad you're here. This is our World History series, and this lesson is on the earliest humans. Before we begin, don't forget to check out the link in the description below to a set of free guided notes to go along with this lesson. Now let's dive in. The objective of this lesson is that students will be able to explain the migration of early humans out of Africa and evaluate the causes and effects of the agricultural revolution, also known as the Neolithic Revolution. We have two main essential questions for this lesson. What were early humans like and why did they migrate out of Africa? And to describe the causes and effects of the agricultural revolution. So what are we learning in this lesson? An introduction to history, important evidence found in Africa related to the earliest humans, and of course the agricultural revolution. So who are we? The story of us. To set the stage, evidence suggests humans could be much older than originally thought. Scientists use artifacts to search for answers and try to carbon date those artifacts to get an estimate on the time. And an artifact is defined as, of course, human-made objects like tools and jewelry. But unfortunately, searching for artifacts in prehistory can leave a lot more questions than answers. And prehistory is defined as the time before the invention of writing, which is estimated to have occurred in about 3000 BC. Now, if what I said caught your ear or ruffled your feathers, let me explain. To ruffle your feathers means to annoy, upset, irritate, or agitate an individual. It's important to note the story is not complete. There are many questions left about the origins of humanity, and there are two prevailing ideas and theories used to explain that. There is creation, or creationism, the belief that a higher power put humans on this earth, and evolution, the theory that humans evolved from another being on this planet. Anthropologists and paleontologists try and attempt to use artifacts and fossils to understand the beginnings of early humans' cultures and origin, and that is a people's way of life. In 1974, Donald Johanson found skeletal remains in Africa. Now, this unusually complete skeletal fossil was dated to be 3.5 million years old and one of the oldest fossils collected. And so Donald named it Lucy after a popular Beatles song of the era. A few short years later, in 1978, Mary Leakey found two hominid footprints preserved in volcanic ash in Africa, and these footprints were also dated to be close to 3.6 million years old. It's important to note neither Lucy nor the Laetoli footprints were made by actual human beings, according to the theory of evolution. Other beings such as Cro-Magnons, Homo erectus, and Neanderthals walked the earth before we did. And no link has been made to these beings, and therefore it's often referred to that there is a missing link. There is a theory that has evolved from this time known as the out of Africa theory. Because the oldest fossils date from Central Africa, the idea is that early humans migrated out of Africa and left to other continents and other land. As you can see on the map, 1.9 million years ago, it's estimated that they left Africa, moved into Europe, South Asia, Southeast Asia, and into Australia, up north through China, across the Bering Ice Strait, into North America, Central America, and Latin America or South America as we know it today. Humans, also known as Homo sapiens, which mean wise men due to the size of the brain, eventually Homo erectus and Homo sapien are going to leave Africa. They're going to migrate out of Africa. And these early humans will be nomadic. They'll be nomads, highly mobile people who move from place to place looking for new sources of food. Nearly all of them are hunter-gatherers. Hunter-gatherers are those whose food supply depends on hunting animal and collecting or gathering plant foods. And estimates show or guess that they started leaving Africa between 1.2 million years ago to 125,000 years ago, with more of an emphasis on the latter. Estimates are that Homo sapiens settled in Europe around 33,000 years ago, in China 67,000 years ago, Australia 38, and North America about 12,000 years ago. And somewhere between 12 and 33,000 years ago settled in South America. We know this due to the fact that similar stone tools have been found in different regions, and they all date back to similar time periods. And it shows that early humans used technology, they're applying knowledge and tools and inventions to meet their needs and overcome their environments. Now, what would cause early humans to leave Africa? It is theorized of three main push-pull factors that would be forcing this migration, and that is competition with other humans or other human beings, following the animal herds, and human curiosity. Well, what happens if I go just beyond that ridge? What happens if I go just beyond those mountains or just beyond that river? Agriculture is going to change everything. Farming changes everything. Early nomads are living in medium-sized bands, about 25 to 70 people, based off the herd of the animal they're following. And around 10,000 years ago, the Neolithic revolution begins. It's the beginning of farming, the beginning of agriculture. Now, there is not an important date that we can point to on the calendar and say, yep, June 18th, 10,000 BC, that's when it began. We can't do that. It's just a window that we can point to, as different societies and civilizations will all hit this benchmark at different times. Now, due to the records, we say that in hunter-gathering societies, men were generally the hunters, which was more dangerous, and women were the gatherers. And so the theory behind the agricultural revolution is that it accidentally started when some women scattered seeds near a campsite and then noticed that crops were growing there when they came back the next season. Rising temperatures around the world provided for longer growing seasons, as well as more rain, and farming produced much more food than hunting and gathering. More food means a higher population, and thus more people to work. And with more people working and better farming methods, permanent settlements are going to develop. We leave hunting and gathering and develop settlements. Those settlements grow into villages, villages into cities, and cities into grand civilizations. And somewhere along the way, you hit a benchmark known as specialization of labor, where people can develop a skill or a specific kind of work other than farming because someone else is already doing that, and not everyone needs to farm. And we see this in the 21st century today, where less than 2% of Americans are farmers, but provide food for 300 plus million Americans. And we know some of the steps of early farming, starting with slash and burn farming, where you cut a field and burn it for the nutrients to go into the soil and then plant and grow your crops on top. We see the domestication or taming of animals or husbandry, and now livestock have been introduced into the diet as well. So take a few moments at this point. The essential questions in the guided notes, go ahead and answer those if you haven't already. What were early humans like, and why did they migrate out of Africa? And what were the causes and effects of the agricultural revolution. That wraps up our lesson for this video. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, especially if you found it helpful. Check us out on Teachers Pay Teachers, YouTube, Rumble, and the Cloaker Education Foundation website, all linked in the description below. We have another video on early humans and the Neolithic Revolution, or skip to the next unit. Check out the rise of the first cities, laws older than the Bible, a place so advanced it invented the 60-second minute, welcome to the ancient river valleys, and the cradle of civilization, Mesopotamia, all that and more just a click away. I'll see you there.